Hello, 5th grade. So as we're starting our analogous portraits, you want to get 3 paintbrushes, a small, a medium, and a large. You might want 2 smalls, you'll probably be using those more. Then you need your portrait, of course. Here's me. Hey, how you doing? So I'm looking at my portrait and I'm looking at all of the different grays values in the portrait. I have a white gray, a medium gray, maybe a slightly darker medium gray, and like almost a black. So that's the first thing I'm going to look at. Like, what colors do I have as far as gray tones in my portrait? Then I'm going to decide what analogous colors I'm going to use. For this portrait, I was thinking that I might want to use blue and blue-green and purple. Well, I guess more like a blue-violet. And then maybe green. So I'm writing down blue-violet, blue, and then blue-green, and then of course green. Now you don't have to use 4 analogous colors. You can use 3 if you want to. Because this portrait has so many different grays in it, that's why I decided to use 4. It actually makes it a little bit easier if you have a lot of different shades or values. So the next thing that I do is I write all of those on my paper, as you can see. And I want for you all to do this before you get your paint. Make sure you write down what colors you're going to use and talk to me a little bit about where those colors are going to go. As I look at these colors, because I'm using the fluorescent tempera paint that we have, I'm trying to think of what color is going to be the lightest. You want to start with the lightest color first. So I get the green because I decide that that's going to be the lightest and start painting with that. So as I do my green, I'm being very careful just to get the lightest parts, including like my eye, but here I want to switch to the tiny, tiny brush so that I can get that detail in there, and maybe even my teeth. Yes, Miss Renfro now has green teeth. So now let's speed things up quite a bit. When I'm done with my green, like you see here, I'm going to rinse out my paintbrushes fully. I want for them to be completely clean before I switch to another color. Now with this paint that we're using, I also don't want for the paint to be watered down at all. So I'm going to get a towel or paper towel. In this case, the closest thing was a tissue, and I'm going to dry off the paintbrush. So I'm making sure that there's no green left in it and that the paintbrush is pretty much dry. Then I'm going to decide what my next darkest color is going to be. So the second lightest color, and I think it's probably going to be the blue-green. What do you guys think? Yeah, let's go with blue-green. So to mix it, I don't want to do too much. I want to mix just a little bit of a paint at a time, and I think I might actually have palettes ready for you guys to show you about how much paint to mix at a time. So I'm using the back of my paintbrush, the end of my paintbrush, to mix the color together. I think it goes a little bit faster that way, and we don't waste paint in the bristles of the brush. So then I wipe off the end and start in with my blue-green, or it's kind of like a dark turquoisey kind of color. So I'm looking for the medium gray shade, the second darkest shade in my picture. If you're only doing 3 colors of analogous colors, then it would be your medium gray. Be careful with your lines. And these paints will go on looking kind of thin, but as they dry, and as you see that with my green there, it's already starting to brighten up. And then the turquoise green will start to brighten up too. So I'm cleaning my paintbrushes again and deciding which color is going to be my next darkest color. So I start off thinking that it's going to be the blue, because when I mix this pink color in to make the blue-violet, I think that the pink is going to make it a lot lighter. So I'm putting them next to each other, and I'm like, yeah, let's go ahead and do the blue-violet. So I'm taking a little bit of blue at a time with the back of my paintbrush And then I'm going to use my smaller paintbrush, or the back of my smaller paintbrush, to mix those together. Now as I do that, I have a really pretty shade of purple, but it's more pink than it is blue. So we're trying to go for a blue-violet. So I'm dropping 3 little drops more of blue in, and then I'm going to mix that together so that my blue-violet is more blue than it is purple or pink. So I am pretty happy with that. And now that I've got those colors mixed, I have to decide which one's darker. Is it the blue-violet or the blue? What do you guys think? I think the blue is a little bit lighter than the blue-violet. So I'm going to start in with that and do my dark grays. Now once again, you might only be using 3 colors, so you wouldn't have this next step. Now that I have my green, my blue-green, and my blue done, I'm going in with my purple, which is kind of going to be like my blackest color. It's pretty much everything that I have left to do. So I'm going in with mostly my medium brush. You might want to use a big brush to do the leftover bits. It just kind of depends on what your picture looks like. So I'm going to do the medium with the biggest parts, like I did there, and then I'm going back in with my tiny brush to do all of the little details. And this includes the little areas of my jacket. They have little lines right there, the lines in my hand, and even the spaces between my teeth. Then we're going to rinse out our paintbrushes, and we are all finished.